Italian, I learned to say this, and I will say it to you, and I understand you know the meaning because it's very similar. In closing, I want to say to you all, ti amo.
Bien, ha llegado el momento del descanso. Sí quería comentarles que justo... You need a microphone if you want to...
Henry has something he wants to say about. And we just want to say something here. This is Henry Deacon from Project Camelot, for those of you who are familiar with our website. And he's here today, and he's here at the conference. He has something he'd like to say, Bob. About Mars.
I don't have any words, but Bob has expressed everything that I would have said. And I can confirm it because I've been working in top secret for 30 years above top secret. We've shared a common background, but I just met him recently here. And I can only say that, yes, there's life on Mars. There are bases on Mars. I've been there. And
I didn't even get started on telling you some of the things I wanted to share this afternoon about who and what is on the moon and Mars. But Henry,
it's a long story, as he said. There's not enough time to put it all together. Except that it's a positive story. It's not one of fear. He showed a picture of the Mother Earth, and it's giving birth, and there's birth pangs, but there's a child is being born, and just forget about the fear, because that's just a really temporary thing. So, a friend of mine, Angelica, who no one knows, in the UK, she calls this the Emerald Planet. And it's alive. Yes, it's very much alive. We're a part of that lit life form. And the life spreads throughout this whole galaxy. And the rest of our family is watching and waiting and helping quietly behind the scenes. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to meet family that don't just live here on Terra for a long, long time, even before I was in government work. So thank you.
There's no, okay. Henry Deacon, for those of you who don't know.
am I still broadcasting you? Still here? I'm going to ask... I was going to share a small story with you before I ran out of time, and I'm going to ask the gentleman to please bear with me and give me just a few moments here. I attended my son's retirement ceremony in Washington, D.C. in November. My boy retired in November in Washington, full captain in the United States Navy after 30 years of service. And while I was at this retirement party, the room was filled with admirals and generals, retired commanders and captains and so on. And we all had something cool in our hands, and we were all moving around among each other, amiably and relaxed, you know. A retired Navy scientist, whose name must remain untold, came up to me, nudged me. He says, "I know you." I said, "Yes, I'm Eric's father." "No, no, no," he said, "I know you. You're that notorious retired command sergeant major with the big mouth." And I says, "Yes, I'll go to that." He says, "I had to share something with you before the party was over." He said, "I retired several years ago." He said, "My last job was at a government laboratory in Nevada, a few miles from Las Vegas." He says, "I am a plasma fusion physicist. That's my expertise. That's my training, my background." And not being a scientist, I thought, what? Plasma fusion physicist? He said, "Yeah, I work at this laboratory outside of Las Vegas." He says, "It's not commonly known, but it's rather secret." He says, "I worked 5 years with 2 guys who were not from here. They were from somewhere else." And he says they were delightful people. They were scientists. They were working with us. They were assisting us. They were encouraging us and offering us ideas and possibilities and one thing or another in plasma fusion, which is infinite energy forever. But he says, "I got to know them pretty well." And he says, after a couple of years, he said, I went up to one of them and I said, "What do you guys really think of us human beings?" And this chap from somewhere said, "Well, since you've asked, we think you are how did you word it? A primitive, savage, and dangerous race." And the scientist said, "I had to agree with you. We are. We're a primitive, savage, and dangerous race at the moment." The other chap was standing there, who had been listening in. He was also from somewhere. Said, "You also smell bad." "You humans stink." In nothing personal, mind you, We find that you don't smell good. And the scientist said, my first thought was, I didn't spray under my arms this morning to make you. And they tried to explain that we humans have a psychic odor about us that they pick up, and they find it terribly offensive. But it hit me between the eyes, because when I was a boy growing up, my grandmother used to say, if we could only see ourselves as others see us, it would help so much to develop our integrity and our character and all that. And this remark from my grandmother hit me, that we were getting this so-called from a horse's mouth, from one of our extended family out